Greetings, and welcome to SS Anime. This video is about some of the best betrayal animes, in which main characters is betrayed, and then makes a comeback. So, without wasting any time, let's get into the video. Number 11 is Masumune's Revenge. Masumune, a pig-like boy, born with a golden spoon in his mouth, loves nothing but food. But when this kid gets bullied and betrayed due to his size, the story takes a different turn. He shed a few pounds and became one of the most famous guy in the country. Well, a weak main character becoming overpowered is a common trope. But a wimpy, fat kid becoming famous is a new one. After getting rid of the fat, he also got rid of his weak personality. He did so to retaliate against the ones who pushed him down. Unfortunately, the premise is not that novel, but it is filled with twists. The well-paced story seems more like a parody than a revenge anime. Number 10 is Bungo Stray Dogs. After being thrown out of an orphanage, Nakajima Atsushi survives a near-death situation. Such a situation was caused due to starvation. After he survives, a series of peculiar men introduce themselves. Among them, the most peculiar ones are Dazai Osamu and Kunakita Doppo. They both are part of the Armed Detective Agency, an agency that takes on cases that the military or the police can't. And this intrigues Atsushi, and he joins the duo in hopes of killing the one who betrayed and humiliated him. So they venture into the virtual city of Yokohama to kill the man-eating tiger and become one of the Bungo masters with unordinary powers. Number 9 is Arifureta. Arifureta shares a lot of similarities with the Rising of the Shield Hero, as both involve MCs that are pretty weak and kind-hearted until they're betrayed. Our goody two-shoes MC in Arifureta completely changes when he's betrayed by his comrade and holds a very bitter grudge. Arifureta tells us a story of a high schooler named Hajime Nagumo who gets isekai'd to a fantasy world along with his classmates. All of them are treated like heroes there with some insane superhuman powers. However, our MC is granted with only basic alchemical magic that holds no worth at all. He's betrayed by one of his classmates during a dungeon raid and finds himself at the bottom of the dungeon. Now, he pledges to become stronger than anyone else and take his revenge as well. Number 8 is Code Geass. Code Geass literally screams betrayal. The main theme of this anime is rebellion and is a political thriller. Our MC is betrayed by his father and he thinks betraying his friends and the ones close to him would help him with his motive. Everyone in this anime is betraying someone close to him and there isn't one single episode when we don't see the strings of betrayal being pulled on. The story starts with the Empire of Britannia invading Japan, naming it Area 11. Lelouch is our MC who's a Britannian, living in Japan at that time. He promises his Japanese friend Suzaku that he'd destroy Britannia. Years later, he's caught up in a battle between Area 11 and Britannian rebel armed forces. Luckily, he finds a girl named CC, who grants him the power of knights, also known as Geass. Lelouch creates a new identity and goes by the name of Zero. Now, he will go on and slaughter anyone who comes in his way to take revenge against Britannia. Number 7 is Chivalry of a Failed Knight. In a world where magic is the source of power, there is one useless individual. Ikki Kurogane wants to be a knight, an individual who is able to manifest his own soul's magic into weapons to fight. For this, he is admitted into the knight training program but fails no matter how hard he tries. This earns him the title of a failed knight. Such a circumstance boycotts him from his family and also his class. But after he meets Stella Vermilion, things start changing. He acquires the confidence to use his own magic in a much more refined manner. But this is not well received by many. Even his father is against this and traps him. This fuels his anger and makes him one of the most overpowered knights in his school. Number 6 is Dororo. Dororo is a beautiful piece of anime with a prominent theme of revenge and betrayal. Our MC is left to die after being betrayed by his own father and he miraculously survives and comes back 10 times stronger to set things right. Dororo tells us the story of Hyakkimaru, who was served as an offering to a devil by his father just because he wanted to save his land. It was his greed that made him renounce Buddha and make a pact with the devil. Hyakkimaru is born without any limbs, nose, eyes or even skin. But he's allowed to live. Overall, the anime will become creepy to the point where you'll love it. He's soon disposed of in a river, but he miraculously manages to survive until he's found by a medicine man who gives him prosthetic limbs and everything else that was missing on his body so that he could survive on his own. He meets an orphan who becomes very close to him. Now, Hyakkimaru must defeat demons to get the parts of his body back that were missing at his birth. Number 5 is 91 Days. During an era when the law was useless, it was the mafia who controlled the city. And this story takes place in one such town, Lawless. This town has flourished by fermenting alcohol but by illegal means. Avalio used to be in this town but is now out of this hellhole. But he has to revisit Lawless for the sake of vengeance. He learns from a secretive sender that his family, which had been massacred, was killed by the Venetti family, the mafia bosses of Lawless. His plan is set in motion once he becomes friends with a child Nero and starts his revenge pursuit. Number 4 is Berserk. We have another AUG anime that tells us the story of some brutal betrayal. It's not really noticeable at the start, but once you realize what's going on, it'll leave you with your jaw dropped to the ground. The story revolves around Guts, who had it tough ever since he opened his eyes to the world. Growing up, he had to fight battles after battles just to survive. He soon joins a group of mercenaries whose leader is Griffith, also known as White Hawk. He manages to impress Griffith due to his raw power and climbs up the ranks without even breaking a sweat. Now, he must fight alongside them to survive and to get his revenge. Number 3 is Vinland Saga. Focusing mainly on the themes of betrayal and revenge, Vinland Saga tells us the story of a boy who gave up on everything just to take revenge. He becomes the part of that very tribe that killed his father and wishes to destroy them with his own hands. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how Thorfinn became someone who he hated the most. He sees nothing but blood and has sacrificed everything for vengeance. This anime revolves around Thorfinn, who lives in an icy village in Iceland. He's greatly impressed by the tales of the old sailors that have witnessed a beautiful land that is warm and fertile, unlike their own village. They're also at war with Vikings that know nothing but bloodshed. Thorfinn's father is killed after being betrayed before his own eyes, and that makes his blood boil. He then joins the Vikings and travels with them, hoping one day he'd get to kill the man, Askeladd, who killed his father. Number 2 is Rising of the Shield Hero. The ultimate anime that does justice with the themes of betrayal and vengeance. Rising of the Shield Hero is an eye-opener for us to not trust anybody easily. RMC in this one was naive and fell prey to a pretty girl who accused him of attacking a girl later, which stripped him off of all the grace. He then became extremely bitter and treated everybody like shit. Rising of the Shield Hero tells us the story of Naofumi Iwatani, who got summoned to a fantasy world along with 3 other people as a legendary hero. He's the weakest of all the 4 heroes and is not very popular amongst the masses. Things get even messy when he's betrayed and accused of assault by the daughter of the king of Melromark. He then starts his journey from zero and forms his party with a demi-human Raftalia and a Philolele named Philo. And for the number 1 spot we have Tower of God. Tower of God sweeps us off our feet when we come across the kind of betrayal that none of us ever anticipated. It's such a great piece of anime that never left any opening for us to foresee what was going to happen next. It also involves the MC entirely changing his personality after being betrayed by someone he never thought would betray him. RMC Bomb is a naive boy who has never experienced the outside world, nor has he interacted with anyone else but a girl his age, Rachel. Rachel abandons him and wishes to climb up the tower that grants one wish to anybody who has reached the top first. Bomb follows her and joins the race to climb up the tower to make her wish come true. That is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.